Hello everyone, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of this trick. The key is to almost take off your hat. This is covering up your quarantine haircut. Let's do this. So I'm going to try and do a couple of things in this video. I'm going to try and show you what's happening in the trick. I'm going to explain to you why it's a 4-2-3 trick and how it fits in with that video, which also leads into kind of how I found it. I'm going to do a progression of like prerequisites and tricks all the way up from 0 that you would need if you want to tackle something like this. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about how I found the trick to try and give you some insight and things you can use in your own trick development process. Okay, so what even is happening in this trick? What is going on? It's a throw from here to here, and then that throw is back here. I'm throwing back to this hand, and that's it. That's repeated on both sides. And what ends up happening is you get this nice windmill effect. So how it's a 4-2-3, this throw is a 4. The arm swing is actually the 2, or I guess it's kind of turned into an active 2 because you're moving with it. And then the throw back, which switches the sides, is this regular behind the head throw that you're throwing as you catch this 4 throw. Cool. What's the progression of tricks to get up to this? I mean, I guess step 1 is a 3-ball cascade. Step 2 would be behind the head throws. As you can tell, that kind of throw is pretty fundamental to this trick. And of course, you're going to need it on both sides. One tip I would give you to think about when you're working on like any of these tricks really is to recognize which of the throws is harder, which is the behind the head throw. So if I can make sure that I'm prioritizing this throw here and making it perfect, then I can have more repetition and have it be the same thing more when I'm going to make the more difficult throw. I can make corrections a lot better with the hand that's just making a catch and tossing than I can back here. The next trick is making the catches behind the head as well. On both sides. And that's the same thing in terms of this hand still has the easiest job, even more so now. So I need to make sure that all of my behind the head throws are perfect, so this difficult transfer can just repeat over and over in the trick and have to do minimal corrections. And that's part of why I included something like this in the list of prerequisites, because the better of a juggler you are already, the easier it'll be to get into something like behind the head, because you'll be able to rely on these throws a lot more, even though behind the head throws might be very uncomfortable and new to you. This really is one of the kinds of tricks that you can only get comfortable only over a long period of time. You have to learn this trick and then keep doing it for years, essentially, and that's part of why I've gotten into these more complex tricks, because they're ways I can practice these tricks at a higher level and need to spend less time on them to make them more comfortable, to make them solid. Cool, let's move on. Okay, so we've learned the basic 3 cascade ones we need. This one, and that one. This trick is a 4-2-3, so we need to add some 4s in. Specifically, that one. where we're throwing a 4 across our body, up over our shoulder, and catching it behind our head here. So everything happens on the other side of your body, essentially. And then we need to be able to return that throw with another behind the head throw. I don't recommend trying to get into like that kind of stuff and doing the 4 separately, because the throw and the catch are now far enough away from each other where I actually think it's more difficult to make the throw elsewhere. So if you can already do this one, you should be able to do the transfer, and you can work on them both at the same time. So when we combine that on both sides, we get this. And we're almost there. Now we just need to add some arm swings. So the way it works is I want to make this 4 throw now under my arm, and the easiest way to do that is to get this arm as far out of the way as possible, because now this is, if I take my arm over here, it's the same thing. You're making the same throw, your other arm is in a different place. The way we get there is by swinging our arms around as we do those transfers. So I make the 4 and then the 3, 4, 2, and then this needs to come up and over and be the next arm swing. And again, the key is to take off your hat. Well, I guess step 1, wear a hat. Step 2, take it off on accident when you're working on the trick. Where were we? 4. I mean, we're doing the whole thing now. That's it. That's the progression up to it. But I didn't find the trick through that progression quite. Because I knew I was trying to find a trick that was like 4, 3, and then come over and do it on this side. And it wasn't possible for me. So then I was like, can I do an easier version? And then I came to this, and then because I was like, wait a minute, that's really close, I just don't like how it looks as much, I was able to figure out what to do with my arms to make what I wanted work, and like putting them back together, I think this adds so much to the aesthetic and the visual of what's going on. And I stumbled into it on accident, because that's where all good things come from, is happy little accidents. And my favorite part of the trick is because there's like a trick to it, and like how I found it for me is like an unlocking of the technical ability. It's not so hard. It feels like something I can make comfortable and make prettier, and like something I can use for stuff, and not the final level trick. I think a lot of people, or like the point I want to make in this video, if there is a point, is you can look at someone doing this trick and you can say, cool, that's a trick. I don't know if I want to spend all that time working on it. I don't know if that's worth it. But by making it solid, making it comfortable, going like, okay, I'm going to learn that trick, and then I'm going to make it comfortable, and then I'm going to see what else I can use it for and add things onto it. you can take these techniques to a whole new level. Like right now, this trick for me, it's not comfortable or solid yet, so I'm not at a point where I can find the next new fancy transition in and out of it and like lean on it, because I'm struggling with that trick by leaning on these other tricks. And hopefully someday I can lean on this one and lean on higher level tricks. So I hope I've rambled long enough for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.